Welcome to the Grocery Guru. This is episode 28, and we are here with your grocery guru, Andrew Grant. Andrew, how are you doing?
Morning, Darren. Yes, very well. Thank you.
Good. You're sporting a hoodie today.
Yeah, I'd say it's still early in the morning.
Fair enough. All right, let's talk about Morrisons' quarterly statement, I think is what's in our postbag today.
Well, that was the news that sort of sparked some thoughts, I guess, because Morrisons' 12-week trading statement came out, I think, Tuesday. Always really, really useful because, we've talked about the annual results of all of the big four. The only problem with those are they're up to a year out of date. Whereas this is only 12 weeks out of date. So it's a real snapshot of what's happening out there. And I think I've said it before, I would really glad I am not facing some of the conundrums these supermarkets are facing, because what struck out to me, I mean, it's a good performance. They're now lapping the start of the pandemic.
Yeah.
So they're lapping all that bulk buying of toilet rolls and water and all the panic buying. So they're like for like. Yeah, they're like for likes down to 1.6%, down from a peak of 11.1. Yeah. But the good news for them is on a 2-year basis, their like for likes are up 8.7.
Yeah.
Now a lot of that's driven by their wholesale business, which is growing like topsy. But what stood out for me is they put a couple of graphs into their into the trading statement. Their fuel volumes are back to pre-pandemic levels, and their £3 meal deal, their food to go offering, is ahead of pre-pandemic levels. So, we read all this stuff about everybody's going to be, the new normal is working from home, town centres are going to be dead, but on the face of it, these figures. And just anecdotally, when you go on the roads at the moment, the rush hour is back.
Yeah.
The M25 is gridlock at 4:30 every day. So is everybody back at work? Or the flip, and you probably noticed it, Pret-a-Manger opening sandwich shops in Tesco supermarkets because their high street business has been destroyed. Who's right?
And it's a real tough one. And there might be a third scenario in this, which is we all go back to work type thing to normal for a couple of months because we're desperate to get to see people engage and go back to where we were to feel like normal people. And then we decide, actually, that thing at home wasn't so bad. And we do this for a bit until we figure out we need a balance that maybe is somewhere here in the middle.
Or you become a twat.
Someone say, go on, tell us what a twat is.
Yeah, it's nothing personal, Darren. No, it is a proper scientific term. It's not a swear word. A twat is somebody who works in the office Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Okay.
And I think this is what the new normal will be. They say there's 1 million. Again, another piece of news this week. They surveyed the UK's 50 largest employers. And they basically, over 1 million workers will be allowed to work in a hybrid home or office scenario. So I think some of the banks have already said it, some of the big investment houses in London. So, and when you look at what's happening with home purchases, I mean, Devon and Cornwall, the Cotswolds, just manic house buying. I think you're going to see the rise of the twat. The person that works in the office Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, but then enjoys a much more relaxed country-style way of life Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
So it's the long weekend, and maybe the biggest positive to come out of the awful COVID pandemic is that we were playing with flexible working before. Maybe now we're actually going to do it properly. There's the talk of the 4-day week, of course. Maybe this is the bit that's in the middle that really works, where someone works mostly in the office and then they have the long weekend at home.
Well, I think it breaks the big taboo. I'm sure you would have known it, but whether it was at Sainsbury's or Tesco, if you said to your boss, I'm just going store visiting,
Yes.
you know, everybody knew you were skiving off the afternoon.
Yes.
And you had that awkward thing the next morning when they said, oh, which stores did you visit? Oh, yeah, that one in New Malden. We haven't got a store in New Malden, Andrew. Oh, right, it was somewhere else then.
And maybe that's what COVID has brought. The positive is that we've found this way of working, which is beyond the jolly, which it used to be. I'll have a jolly day off on a Friday. To actually, people are realizing when I'm at home and I've got teams, I'm doing that. I'm working hard in the office, and the balance is struck. Maybe.
And certainly, you know, anecdotally among, you know, friends and colleagues, they don't want to work from home 24/7. Yeah. They just get too fed up of their other half and all the distractions. But equally, they do not want the hassle of having to get a train into London every day and have that stress and congestion. And so for them, hybrid is perfect. You know, everybody I speak to, you know, yeah, I'll quite happily go in the office 2 or 3 days a week because it gets me out of the house. I get to meet my colleagues and a bit of, you know, social interaction. It's also good for business. But do you know what? I do value being able to spend more quality time at home where actually I feel I'm more productive when I'm working.
Yes. And I'm just going to drop in here a help for anyone who's viewing. We've just written an article called Turn Off Your Email Notifications, Watch Out for the Badgers. So I'm just going to intrigue people with that, and we'll drop the link at the bottom of the video. And the other part is try not to build your calendar like Tetris, you know, where you drop down those things and all of a sudden you've got 12 hours absolutely stacked back to back. And you think, oh, that was a hell of a day. So try not to do that. But again, we'll drop some links on the video to help them.
Mm.
All right.
Yeah. So
coming back
as ever.
Yeah, go
on. As ever, interesting times, and you know, some real big calls some of these retailers got to make. Although, you know, when I say big calls, you know, they'll make the calls, but it's the supply base that will have to either jump to attention instantly if they suddenly, you know, food to go takes off again, or they'll be left on the sidelines if they decide, nah, food to go isn't the future.
True.
So I think for the suppliers, they need to be absolutely eagle-eyed and watch every single second of all these various, you know, stats and trends we've been talking about, because I couldn't call it. I think it's 50-50 as to whether, you know, hybrid working will be here to stay, or in 3 years' time we go, pandemic, what pandemic?
Yeah, it could be. It could be, and it's a tough one to call, you're right. And the obvious answer is they need to be flexible, which they're watching this thinking, of course we need to be flexible. We need to have a business plan for either. Of course we do. And we appreciate that. It takes a huge amount of effort to create something you may never use.
Yeah, absolutely. So there we go.
Call out another 2 highlights before we finish and let you go. Online sales also continue their strong run with year-on-year growth of 113%, partly driven by its partnership with Amazon.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that is something that is clearly here to stay. People have switched into the convenience of having their bulk groceries home delivered.
Yes.
You know, I think I said in an earlier one of these, you know, it is quite staggering that the supermarkets managed to train the UK population to do their own picking and sorting effectively, you know, in a warehouse.
We're actually very good pickers. Very good pickers.
Yeah. If you'd have pitched that as a business plan, you know, today, you know, we'd like our customers to go and pick and sort their own products and move them from shelf to trolley, trolley to belt, belt to trolley, trolley to car. They'd say that you wouldn't get investment for that.
Very true, very true. One last bit. Primarily starting to supply an extra 230 McColl stores, 25 McColl stores converted to Morrisons daily, taking the total 56. We've got 56 Morrisons dailies out there now.
Yeah, no, I mean, probably to most people, you know, Morrisons wholesale business has been really an unsung hero. They've built a sizable wholesale business there. Now, quite what the plans for it would be, would they at some point, you know, float it off? Don't know, but yeah, they've managed to keep a focus on running a pretty good set of supermarkets, but also build this pretty sizable now wholesale business, which obviously helps their volumes and helps them in their negotiations with the biggest suppliers, because they don't have the buying power of a Tesco or a Sainsbury's or an Asda, but actually with the wholesale division gives them a lot of extra oomph when it comes to negotiations.
Certainly does. It doesn't touch on their manufacturing division in the bits that I read.
No, it doesn't. But I guess that's another unique part of the Morrisons setup, and having I can't remember whether vertical integration is in vogue or isn't in vogue. It seems to switch in and out, but they've got a pretty successful vertically integrated model, as the textbooks would say.
Andrew, great insights. What's the one takeaway you want to leave our viewers with?
Oh, the one takeaway: £3 meal deal sounds good.
I like your word. Okay, Andrew, thank you very much. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.